Hello, everyone. Let me introduce this title to you. Why is it a wild solar panel? Because this solar panel, since its installation, it has been completed in December 2021 and installed to on April 21, 2022, as of today, he has gone through 111 days, that is, no one has been cleaned in the middle. Only, it is washed away by rain on rainy days. That is, the main reason for installing the energy detection battery board at that time, that is, heat insulation, so I lived downstairs. It was very hot in summer. Our place, it is very hot in summer and very cold in winter. Just like this place, a place that can feel spring, summer, autumn and winter, I won't introduce these places to you. This photovoltaic, so far, I have counted a total of 1026 degrees of electricity. One day ago, I calculated that this is an average board per 1000 watts of charge. It is about 3.4 levels of electricity. Such a board. It is about 545 watts of power, with an average of more than 1.7 degrees of electricity. That is, this board can emit about 1.7 degrees of electricity a day. This is a parameter counted here. Of course, this board is not wiped. If it is wiped, the power will definitely be higher, that is, power efficiency. However, it is such a state without cleaning. Some of its data may be more meaningful to some specific people. I want to understand this way. This board, I will give you a specific look at the back and how it is assembled. Later, I will show you a house and the inverter and the photovoltaic unit. The network box and some personal opinions on his interview. That's what I just said. This board is not cleaned. If someone cleans it, the power will definitely be higher. Another more meaningful parameter is that everyone may have to pay attention to playing this. That is, I have calculated it at present. In the case of no one care of it, this board generates about 1.7 degrees of electricity a day on average. This board is about 545 watts a day. Just like this board. You see so much, if it is cleaned, the efficiency must be higher. It's in such a state, but these are more in line with reality, that is, no one cares. We came to the back of the solar component. Look, this is the solar panel set. This is the solar panel assembly. Its aluminum alloy border and some real light spoke plates have been added to it. This is a single panel. This is a single panel. It is installed at a certain angle to receive sunlight radiation. And then supported with a bracket. Over time, it will specially test the strength of this bracket and its corrosion resistance. You must buy galvanized when you buy these joints, and that is to say, if you have that kind of welding, the moisture of electric welding. After welding, those high-temperature ground parts are easy to rust. You must deal with it, and this photovoltaic panels, go online when installing boards, left and right probe panels should be spaced. Without this pressure relief, this joint is actually equivalent to the pressure relief hole of the pressure relief valve. If you are like this, the overall board, the area is very large, and these things may be pulled out and damaged. This is normal. Don't believe it. When the seam is particularly large, there is no seam installed and no pressure relief. If this is particularly tight, it is very dangerous. I'll look for this piece, just this piece. Maybe my mobile phone is a little shaky. Please understand, and then the mobile phone keeps holding the wipe and holding the mobile phone all the time. Maybe it's a little tired. Okay, let me show you this, parameters. On the left is the set, on the left is the equipment, and on the right is some of its parameters. This is its power, with a maximum power of 545 watts. The open circuit voltage is 490, and the open circuit voltage is 49.7 volts. This is the voltage without any load. The short circuit current is 13.93 ampere. This is a direct positive and negative electrode short circuit, and the maximum operating voltage is 41.80 volts. Why is this maximum operating voltage different from this, open circuit voltage? Here I would like to explain to you that the maximum operating voltage refers to the range where it maintains the best output voltage after adding load. Combined with the internal resistance of this solar panel, it is the best power output, which may involve some electrical knowledge. If the maximum operating current is, the maximum working current, it and the maximum working voltage, and the maximum power is, matching, this insurance current, refers to the insurance current, the safety current refers to this board, it's a self-protection. Here, you can show you 250,000 yuan. Some people may also ask why the maximum working current is not the same as the safety current. It's because of this board, because this board, may become used and become an electrical appliance. I'll tell you. The rated operating temperature, this is in the laboratory temperature. In reality, it will definitely be higher. The maximum system voltage of the maximum system DC 1500 volts. Let me tell you why there was a safe current just now, and another and the maximum system voltage. That is to say, this system, it can go to the board to assemble and connect in series. The final voltage you finally reached is not to be higher than 1500 volts. If it is higher than 1500 volts, it may break through. There is also designed to the safety voltage. So why add a fuse? This fuse means that when this board is not used, or when there is no sunlight, it becomes without sunlight, and after there is no sunlight, it becomes an electrical device, okay? When there is no electricity and no sunlight, if the voltage is added on both sides. If the voltage is added on these two sides, it will become an appliance. If the voltage on both sides is high enough, it will get hot, and its board may burn out at that time, so I added such a fuse. Well, let's go downstairs to see the inverter. We're downstairs. We can take a look at the two tubes, that is, the next two lines upstairs. There are a total of 4 roads, it's it. 60 solar panels, 15 groups are connected in series, so 4 ways have been formed. We can take a look at him. Go in the DC, and then the 50 thick PVC tube below belongs to the output, and finally to this, two-way, meter is a two-way qigong. We can open it and have a look. But before that, I will tell you that this box does not belong to the personal tube, and above the meter belongs to the personal tube. Below the electricity meter, it belongs to, the power supply bureau. The sound here is a little noisy. Please understand. I'll show you this photovoltaic, two-way technician, that is to say, this photovoltaic grid box for you. Let's take a look at its interior. Okay, let me tell you, first of all, there is an inverter above. After the 4600 volt DC voltage comes in, it becomes a 380 volt AC voltage through the inverter. Here is a 3-way, 1-0 line of firewire, that is, the power supply. This is the inlet line, first of all, an air switch, air circuit breaker. This is a, automatic overlapping switch. What does this switch do? It will monitor the voltage of the test. What do you mean? That is, when the test is out of power, it automatically disconnects. It means, to prevent the test from being overhauled, and then it generates its own electricity to supply, so if it is detected like this, it will automatically disconnect. Everyone understands that when the municipal electricity is abnormally disconnected, there is no power test power. It will automatically disconnect before the test without calling. If it is prevented, it will cause damage to the external output voltage, and if it is the test, it will restore the voltage. It will automatically close the gate. There is a lamp on it. Well, it has changed from here to 2 taps. Look. So as soon as it becomes 2 taps, after the two taps come down, there is another air switch here. If the air switch, when you go to the following, capacitor protector here, who knows the specific principle can be said, anyway, roughly if there is a lightning strike or a higher movie, that is, a particularly high voltage appears. It will achieve the purpose of to connect it, that is, to ground in an instant. I don't know if it is a varistor. The voltage exceeds a certain amount of transmitter is automatically grounded, and then let's take a look at the output on the other way, and the other output is through this way below. After going up, he first entered this meter. This meter records how many degrees of electricity you sent and how many degrees of electricity you sent. It records how many degrees of electricity you sent, that is, how many degrees of electricity the photovoltaic board sent, and then he gave you a corresponding subsidy. The next board said that if you need to use this electricity in your house, he will answer it to you from below. In this way, you will know how many degrees of electricity the photovoltaic boards send and how many degrees of electricity you use it at home. This is a process of two-way technician, its circuit, Finally, output it through a switch. So the output went out, and that's the output. Let me tell you what this watch is doing. First of all, this two thin wires, let me explain to you that is, this and this two wires are powered by this meter, and then this two white wires transmit data to this, that is, it will send data to this meter through some protocols such as 485 and so on. After he receives the data, it will summarize, and then emit it through this antenna. The antenna, the overall process is actually relatively simple. The direct current in photovoltaic in through the inverter, this is an inverter, some switches of their inverter, transmitting data. You can choose Wi-Fi, GPS. It reflects the temperature in the inverter, DC input power, AC input power, phase voltage, etc. Yes, that is, some parameters that can be monitored by this inverter, and then through the AC power emitted AC, a main switch enters a main switch. The main switch is the air switch, and then passes through an automatic overlapping switch. This switch is mainly responsible, over current overload, and this, test monitoring whether there is power. For example, it will test and power off the power, it will automatically cut off the switch, call it to prevent this reverse power, prevent unnecessary damage to the power test, to the maintenance personnel, that means like this, the following goes through a longitudinal switch, this is, he added this switch. I guess it is to protect and prevent the short circuit below, or it directly breaks through the right ground, so I add such a switch, 2 meters above the vertical gate knife below. One is the total amount of electricity, and the other is that if you can connect it, how much electricity you use for your household appliances, it can be used to record work in both directions. This is a collection table. This longitudinal switch outputs the power to it. It's in the trial shop. It's okay. Hello, everyone. I just showed you this, 32.7 kilowatt solar panels, inverters, and two-way electromechanical meters, in this state. Let me tell you that the total power generation of this 32.7 kilowatt solar panel was calculated from January 1, 2022 to April 2022. On the 21st, yes, today, on the 21st, I just took a look. The parameters of the feedback from the inverter are said to send a total of 13,032 degrees of electricity. Up to now, this data must have been updated, and there is also that increase. I introduced the specific model of the solar panel, and there is also a 30 kilowatts inverter. For the part of the two-way meter, it does not belong to the individual. It belongs to the part of the Power Supply Bureau. I suggest that everyone do not open it generally. Here, I would like to share a little knowledge with you, that is, it belongs to personal private tubes. The line under the electricity meter, which belongs to the Power Supply Bureau, is managed by the state grid. Let's add a little knowledge to you. Let me talk about my views on the photovoltaic industry and the current situation. Look at my views on the photovoltaic industry, that is, photovoltaics will still be within the next 10 years. This is within my cognitive range. In 10 years, it is one of the more reliable clean energy utilization, that is, it is suitable for a state with a broader environment. Where there is sunlight, photovoltaics can basically be used. The photovoltaic industry, at present, from 2021, June due to the epidemic and, it is inconvenient to say some specific controls, which led to its raw materials and global inflation, so its price is now relatively high. At that time, I understood that it was almost 1 yuan per watt, but by in 2022, the price of solar panels, has risen by 2 yuan per watt, so its price is now in a relatively expensive state. I don't know when the price will come down. In this case, I don't recommend installing this photovoltaic at present. If you are from the perspective of investment, I don't recommend installing it. If you invest, it is a cost. It should be relatively longer at present, and now it's because of the epidemic. I suggest that it's better to keep some fixed working capital in your hand. One of the purposes of the photovoltaic I installed was upstairs just now, just to insulate the heat, because I was downstairs, and our place was very cold in winter, and it was very hot in summer. But we can turn on the air conditioner in winter, and I can also turn on the air conditioner in summer. But in summer, we can effectively install the insulation after the explosion volt. In terms of this effect, at present, we have seen that we have not experienced the current spring. I feel that the effect is indeed, and the effect is more effective. Well, everyone installs photovoltaic for different. Some people are for investment. Some people are for insulation, for example, like me, because at that time, it was also calculated at that time. Well, at that time, it was a comprehensive consideration. Because of my personal mentality, photovoltaics were installed. Let me talk about my state. Finally, let's talk about this. I'd better talk about some personal thoughts. If you can be within this photovoltaic coverage at home, not within the coverage of this event. If you don't consider investment, I don't recommend you install photovoltaic, if it comes to photovoltaic, its cost is too high. Let me tell you directly that the cost of photovoltaics is still high at present, and it is still high at present. Well, in addition, your power generation is not particularly stable, purely, relying on the sky to eat. Today, you may say, the sunlight is very good, the power generation power is particularly high. If you continue to be cloudy and rainy, the environment in every place is different, it may say, the power generation state is relatively poor, but as long as there is light, it can generate electricity. In addition to the temples left unattended, there is no one care of my temples upstairs, no one cares about him, 3. It has 32.7 kilowatts of solar panels, plus a 30 kilowatt reverse appliance. Since its wind power and peak wind power is self-monitoring data, there has only